Welcome to Presentation, Ponder, Practice. Good and evil often present the same subject matter. The author of Hebrews presents the subject of love in a positive and negative way. Hebrews chapter 13, verses 1 through 6. Let love of the brethren continue, may be expressed as keep on loving brotherly or keep on with brotherly love. The tense of the term continue makes this an imperative. Christians thought of themselves as members of the same family who loved one another. They needed to work for that love to remain or stay with them. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers is a double negative way of saying love strangers. This is a second imperative in as many verses, instructing Christians to show kindness. This time, kindness is to be shown to guests or strangers, for by this some have entertained or received as a guest angels without knowing it. A third imperative comes in verse 3. Remember the prisoners as though in prison with them. Hebrews 10, verses 32 through 34, spoke about the Hebrews showing sympathy to prisoners. Continuing to remember the prisoners was an important matter that they must carry out. Providing assistance to prisoners required thinking of those who are ill-treated and our connection to them, seen in the phrase, since you yourselves also are in body. An article before body would be helpful in establishing a more precise meaning of this text. However, no article is found in the Greek. Attempting to put ourselves in the shoes of others fosters sympathy and shows love. Marriage is to be held in honor among all, and the bed is to be undefiled. For fornicators and adulterers, God will judge, says Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4. All persons should honor marriage. Husbands and wives must be faithful to each other. Fornicators and adulterers, people who do not honor marriage or the bed, whether the person is married or not, will be judged by God. Love each other. Love strangers. Love prisoners. Love your spouse. The positive teaching on love is followed by a negative statement about love. Make sure that your character is free from the love of money, being content with what you have. Do not love money. It affects your behavior, your way of living. Be content or be satisfied with what you have. The reasoning comes from a quoted passage that we cannot confirm for certain. There are at least 4 Old Testament passages which this statement could come from. The statement, for he himself has said, I will never desert you, nor will I ever forsake you. God has promised to never leave us down and out. So that we confidently say, Hebrews chapter 13, verse 6, the Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. This quotation is from Psalm 118, verse 6. Because God has promised to never abandon us, we can confidently say, I will not be afraid. God helps us. He responds to our call for help. So the question is raised, what will man do to me? Since God helps and will never abandon, we can face anything man chooses to do to us. May God bless you in loving the things and people we should, and not loving the things which would keep us from obeying Him.